All right, football season right around the corner. Welcome back to the Stack Shack Sports Show. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are going to dive into a fun exercise. Do this every year as we take a look at all the divisions in the NFL, and we're going to rank the teams first to fourth. Pulled up a little tier list maker here. I've organized the teams by divisions, and so we are going to jump right into this and I'm going to let you know my predictions. And then at the end of the season, we'll come back to this. We will look at where I was right, where I was wrong. I got some interesting picks here, I think. I think you're going to be surprised by some of my opinions. So I've got a tier list here, first, second, and third. We're going to start with the AFC West as they, have our Super Bowl champions. So we got four teams in each division. We have 8 divisions across the 2 conferences. I think you just have to put the Chiefs in first place, right? They're coming off of a Super Bowl win. In the offseason, it wasn't like they lost really any major pieces. Last year would have been the year, right, with losing Tyreek Hill where we might have some concerns. They obviously proved that, you know what, with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, give him time to throw. I think he can make things happen. So I think we do the Chiefs in first place. And then, we've got 3 teams here. The Broncos wildly underperformed last season, but add Sean Payton. Can he fix Russell Wilson in that offense? We will have to see. Raiders, obviously no Derek Carr anymore. Rockin' Jimmy G at quarterback. How productive is he going to be in a totally new system? And then Chargers. Justin Herbert just got the bag. And how is he going to be able to perform? I think I'm going to put the Chargers as number 2. Okay, I think Justin Herbert, Kellen Moore being a big addition at the quarterback or as a quarterback coach and as an offensive coordinator, I think that's going to help Herbert. I think, something we've complained a lot about as fans is, man, the Chargers just seem to make really dumb coaching decisions. So, some benefit there. I think you put the Broncos in third and the Raiders in fourth. I think the Broncos are improved this season, but I don't think we're going to see anything crazy out of the Broncos. Raiders, I think they're going to struggle. I think Jimmy G's going to struggle. He's got so many injury problems. Who knows if he even starts for the whole season? So I think Raiders are set up here to end up in fourth place. Moving on to the AFC South. I think this is an easy pick. I'm picking the Jags. I think the Jags are going to have an absolutely incredible season this year. I think they're poised to just continue growing. Doug Peterson got that ship righted after, the whole debacle of Urban Meyer and all of the, off-season drama and all of that. He comes in, stabilizes the franchise almost instantly. Trevor Lawrence is looking very good. And I think they're poised to have a really great season. Now you have the Titans, the Colts, and the Texans. The Titans, with Vrabel, Tannehill, Henry, bringing in DeAndre Hopkins, those are some big name players. It's interesting because I think they're one of the teams that is not really getting talked about, maybe like they should. I think maybe they deserve a little more respect, but everybody's going to be talking about the Colts and the Texans, right? 2 rookie quarterbacks, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson. All eyes are on those 2. It'll be interesting to see how it finishes. I'm going to put the Titans in second place. I actually think DeAndre Hopkins really helps them. I think we kind of forgot about the Titans and Vrabel's teams, historically, I think they're going to be solid on defense. They're going to play tough. Derrick Henry, we'll see if he can stay healthy for a whole season. Should be able to. And if he does, Tannehill throwing to D-Hop, I think that works out pretty well. I'm actually going to put the Colts in third and the Texans in fourth. I think the Colts are going to surprise some people this year. I think Anthony Richardson is going to surprise some people this year, as I think he's more ready to play than we expected, right? I think everybody agreed he was a ridiculous talent, had a lot of potential, but could he really play at the NFL? Would he be accurate enough? Would he be controlled enough? Would he be able to pass from the pocket enough? I think the Colts are going to be kind of an interesting team this year that brings out some really wild offensive strategies, and really surprises some teams, especially early on. I think they can get some early wins in the season. I think if you look at their schedule to start the year, they play Jacksonville, right off the bat. I think Jacksonville might struggle with who knows what the Colts offense is going to look like. It's going to be very different, similar to how Lamar's really MVP year, where the Ravens were running an offense that just nobody else was running. And, they got Jonathan Taylor. They have these weapons. He's a great running back. I think they might come out similar to Lamar's, early career, where they were just totally different than any other team and really hard to prepare for. I think there's a chance they win these first 4 games. Just go on a win streak, get 4 games. Teams aren't ready. They don't know what's going on. I think they get the Jags, getting them in week 1. The Jags, again, I predicted them to win the division, but week 1, the Colts are just, who knows what that offense is going to look like. How are you going to protect against it? So I think maybe they get that week 1 Jags win. I think they can beat the Texans. Maybe they beat the Ravens and the Rams, as the Rams defense is not great. You come up with, again, the first 4 weeks are going to be pivotal, as teams are going to start to try and figure out how to play against this offense and this explosive player in Anthony Richardson, who's just different pretty much than everybody else in the league. Yes, maybe by week 5 and 6, I think that's where you start to see some teams figured out. Maybe Vrabel shows something with his defensive mindset that improves and demonstrates how to compete against the Colts. And then, some other teams take it. Again, I don't think they're going to win their division, but I think there is a chance they're going to be incredibly productive, especially early on, get some wins, and that's why I have them over the Texans. CJ Stroud, he just doesn't have a lot to work with. And when you don't have a lot to work with, especially from an offensive line, a run game, as a rookie quarterback is tough in the NFL. So somebody's got to be 4th. I think the Texans are 4th. Moving on, we got the AFC East, right? Bills, Dolphins, Patriots, Jets. Jets making a lot of offseason noise, obviously, with the Aaron Rodgers signing, Dalvin Cook signing, rumors they're trying to fix their offensive line. We talked about it earlier in the week. Jets have a major offensive line problem. So I don't think I can put them first. I think we're going to put the Bills first. I trust Josh Allen and that organization. Some people are saying that could be a blow-up year. It might. This is probably the division that I don't know about, right? I could easily see Dolphins winning this. There's a chance the Jets win this, right? These teams are going to be close. I don't really particularly believe any of these teams are super good. I don't really have them as Super Bowl contenders. Maybe the Bills. Maybe I'm not giving the Bills credit. Maybe I'm buying too much into the chaos in the offseason. But this division, I feel like it's Patriots in 4th. I don't think they're going to be able to do much. But then where do you put the rest? I think I'm going to go something like this. I think the Jets have a good year, not a great year. I worry about Tua's health with the Dolphins. If Tua is healthy and plays all season, I think we're looking at this. But I have concerns about Tua's health. I have concerns also, a little bit of a lightning in the bottle last season maybe. Will defenses know a little bit better how to play them? So this is going to be my divisional rankings there for the AFC East. But I think the AFC East might be the one division that I am kind of least confident in, and the one division that could have the biggest booms and the biggest busts. I could see the Bills really struggling, the Jets falling apart, Aaron's pissed off because he's getting sacked all the time, Tua gets hurt, the Patriots are the Patriots. I don't see much going on there. So I think overall, this is the best I got, but I'm staying away from this in any sort of divisional betting strategies because, oh boy, I don't know. There's a lot of questions there. Might be the most interesting division in football this season to watch. I don't think it's the best. I think the Chiefs division and the division we're going to talk about next are probably better, but I think maybe the most interesting. We got Hard Knocks over at the Jets, so there are a lot of eyes on that division. Moving into the North, AFC North, we've got Ravens, Bengals, Browns, and Steelers. I am going to put the Bengals first. I think as long as Joe Burrow is healthy. Now, he's coming off of a bit of an injury in practice. We will see for sure. But I think last season kind of got the offensive line in much better shape until they all got hurt at the end of the year. So Bengals have some injury concerns and questions. Will they be able to play? But overall, I think Bengals make the most sense there in first. Now, second, I think it is going to be the Ravens. But I could very easily see the Steelers. And you know what? I was going back and forth of these in my notes. Let's do it. I think the Steelers, Pickens has been incredible in the preseason. I think Pickett, has a big jump here in year 2. And I think the Browns are headed for disaster. I think the Ravens are going to struggle with some of the offseason drama. And I think this is how it lines up. Now, the interesting thing is I think this is probably the best division in the NFL. Maybe Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders, depending on what Sean Payton and Russell Wilson can do. That might be a, similarly competitive division, but I could see all 4 of these teams being playoff teams. I really can. I don't see the Patriots being a playoff team. Don't really see the Texans. Maybe the Colts do something crazy and squeeze in, but I don't really see them. Jags, I think, is a playoff team, right? Here, I can see 2, maybe 3. I can see 3. I can see a scenario where 3 of the 4 teams get into the playoffs. I can see a scenario where all 4 teams could potentially make the playoffs. Obviously, they won't all make it at once, but I think this is the best division in football. Going to be very fascinating to watch from that perspective. Now, moving out of the AFC, that finishes off our AFC. So you can kind of do your playoff predictions here off of this. Division winners all go into the playoffs. And then we need 3 more, right? 3 more teams in the playoffs. I think it is Chargers. I think it is Steelers. I don't know. Probably the Jets. I think the defense is good enough. Aaron Rodgers will find a way to, get it to the weapons. They have plenty of weapons there. So I think we look at Bengals, Bills, Jags, Chiefs, Chargers, Jets, Steelers. Now, there is the potential that, a Jets doesn't make it, and maybe we go Steelers and Ravens, or Steelers and Broncos, right? Maybe the Jets don't make it and we get 2 teams out of some of these other divisions. But my, prediction here, probably these 4, obviously these 4. And then I'm going to put the Jets, Steelers, and Chargers in that playoff as well. So moving on to the NFC, we got the NFC West here. Cardinals, Niners, Seahawks, Rams. This used to be the best division in football, and now it is, to me, the division of questions. Who's going to quarterback for San Francisco? Purdy is not looking great in practice and preseason. Now, he's coming off of this injury, but is that injury going to continue affecting him? Right? What is, his capabilities? Is that injury going to nag at him, cause him to be a little inaccurate throwing down the field this season? Interesting to know. Seahawks loaded up. I'm going to say the Seahawks win this division. That might be a hot take. I don't think it's that crazy. Geno Smith last year, for a good portion of the season there, was leading quarterback rating of all quarterbacks. The best quarterback rating. That's impressive. I think they loaded up in the draft. This is a classic Pete Carroll, young team, fast team. That defense is going to be deadly. Very, very high, I think, on the Seahawks. I think you get the Niners in second. I think we go Rams third and Cardinals fourth. Rams, if you watched my video on some of my best bets, I'm pretty high on the Rams this season as far as getting some wins. But I think ultimately we've got Seahawks, Niners, Rams, Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are a dumpster fire right now. I don't even know if Kyler Murray wants to play football, so there's no way I can put them anywhere but last place. Rams, if everybody stays healthy, there is a chance I think this happens, because I think the Niners, they have probably the best roster, maybe even in the NFL, but they might have some serious quarterback problems. If Brock Purdy is hurt and really isn't the same guy anymore, we'll see. I think there is something to be said, though, about preseason, especially with these quarterbacks that are, maybe not as concerned about winning the job. Brock Purdy's named the starter, should be good to go, fairly confident in his job. Maybe you're letting it rip in the playoffs. Maybe you're trying some things, you're forcing some balls because you're just seeing how it feels, right? He's warming that arm back up. So he's just letting it rip maybe a little bit. And, you don't love interceptions, but maybe this is just hey, it doesn't matter anyways. I'm going to let it fly, see how that arm's feeling, see if I can still make all the throws I used to be able to, see where I might, need to change my strategy, see just how the rehab is going. So I'm pretty confident in this lineup here. Seahawks in first. I know most people are probably putting the Niners there, but I still have concerns about quarterback play, especially with Brock Purdy coming off this injury. Until we know that it's fully healed and he's ready to go, we'll see. Maybe it was lightning in the bottle. Similar, complaint I had about, the Dolphins. I don't know for sure about quarterback health, and I'm going to put you down a little lower for that reason. So we'll move out into the NFC South, and I think this is kind of the forgotten division in football this season. We got the Saints, the Falcons, the Panthers, and the Bucks. I'm going to just go straight up. Saints are winning this division. I think Derek Carr is the forgotten pickup that it will have massive impact. The Saints have a quarterback. I think put Derek Carr in a good system, in a decent roster. Again, I think people are really sleeping on the Saints as far as, maybe not necessarily predictions, but I think more people need to be talking about them. So Saints there at the beginning, or Saints there in first. Then we've got the old guy Baker Mayfield with the Bucks. And then we got a couple of young guys, right? We've got Desmond Ridder and we've got Bryce Young. I think Desmond Ridder has a big year. I think he's better than people give him credit for. And so I put the Falcons there. I think we put the Bucks. Oh, this is where it gets tough. Bucks or Panthers? How does this end up? Man, it's just tough. I go back and forth with this one a lot. I think I'm going to end up here. Maybe not. Yeah. We'll believe in the kid. Believe in Bryce Young. Energize the franchise. Get him to a few wins. Again, I think these two teams are really going to struggle this year. Definitely not the best division in football. That's why, Saints over might even be a good bet because they get to play these three teams twice. That's a lot of wins, I feel like, is going to be racked up there for the Saints. But this is where it's going to end up, I think. Yeah, I think Derek Carr is going to have a great year. I think the Saints are poised to have a good, solid team. Maybe one of the better records in the NFL because of how many times they get to beat up on the Bucks and the Panthers, and even the Falcons for that matter. I think Desmond Ridder, a little underrated. People aren't really talking about him as far as, coming into. He didn't play the whole season last year, right? But showed some flashes, and now is going to have a full off season and now a full season under his belt. So looking for big things from Desmond Ridder. Bryce Young, Baker Mayfield, whatever happens with these two, it's just not going to be pretty regardless. So that's how we're going to end up there. Now we come to everybody's favorite division, I guess, maybe. The NFC East. It seems to be consistently one of the loudest divisions as you deal with the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Giants, and the Commanders. Eagles, I don't see them slowing down. I see Jalen taking another leap. I see that defense still strong. I don't really see the Eagles slowing down. I think they're going to be just as good as they were last year, compete, and definitely will be competing in that, conference championship, maybe Super Bowl. They are that good, and I don't really see a lot of holes or any big off-season losses. I guess you could say they lose the offensive coordinator, right? We have a new offensive coordinator, so maybe there's a little regression there, but I think they're still the best team in their division. Second is where it gets interesting. The rest of these teams is where it gets interesting. I am not on the Cowboys bandwagon this year. I think every year they're the most popular team in America, so people talk about them, people get hyped about them. It's popular to, project good things for the Cowboys. I don't see it. I just don't see it. I don't see any improvement really over last season where they were, 12-5. That's pretty good. But I see a major regression this year. Losing Zeke, not that he was incredibly productive last year, but Tony Pollard's coming off of an injury. Zeke was good to have in the backfield. Good to have in the locker room, I think. Good to have that veteran presence. Still concerns over, Zach Martin sitting out, and there's some, problems there with, are they going to have that good continuity with an offensive line? And Dak led the league in interceptions last year. So that's a lot of negative trends that I'm really struggling to ignore, I think. You've got Washington and the Giants, though, which I don't really find too much better. But I'm going to do something crazy here. I think Washington is second. I think Sam Howell has a great year. I think their defense is strong, and I think Sam Howell has a big jump this year. I think you get McLaurin back to, previous season's production. I think Sam Howell, get him in there. I'm putting the Washington Commanders in second. I think it's a big leap for them. They were 8-8 last year, kind of middle of the road, right? But this year, I think they win some more of those games and take second place. I think we put the Cowboys here in third and the Giants here in fourth. Although, I'm going to be honest, there is a part of me that wants to put the Cowboys in last. I just am so low on them. This might be my hot take of the year. I am expecting implosion from the Cowboys. That's why they are my favorite bet for the under on win totals. I think it's inflated from the fact that there's so many people that love the Cowboys and bet on the Cowboys to win lots of games. Bet the Cowboys under. That's what I'm projecting. I think New York, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to do it. New York, Cowboys are going to finish last in their division. Fight me in the comments. I'm ready. Cowboys are primed to have a blow-up season. I think this is going to be an absolute disaster. I think New York finishes middle of the road. Dable's a great coach. Daniel Jones is himself. I don't think he's going to elevate his players to any great new heights, but they were a playoff team last year. I'm putting Washington in second. I'm putting the Daniel Jones, Brian Dable here in third. And Dak and McCarthy and CeeDee and Pollard, they're going to be a team that everybody watches. It's everybody's favorite team. But I think they're going in fourth. So I'm sure that's going to be one of my most argued takes. I'm sure people are going to complain in the comments down below about that. But this division, Washington in second, New York in third, Dallas in fourth. All right, and that brings us to the last division, last but not least here, in the NFC North, as we have the Bears, the Lions, the Packers, and the Vikings. Lions first? I feel like I was very standard at the beginning. Yeah, I don't know, maybe putting the Dolphins here and the Jets here. I don't know. There's a few slightly warm takes in there. These last two divisions you might be a little surprised with. I think the Lions, they're a complete team. Jared Goff actually was very productive quietly last year. Dan Campbell, I think, is a solid coach. I think he keeps that team energized. I think they win their division. Now, coming off of a 9-8 season last year, offense ranked 8th. Overall, defense was really bad, but I think their defense has improved this season. I think they, work in the offseason and get that all fixed, or at least part of it fixed. And they're not as bad as they were last year. I think their offense was still productive. I'm putting them in first. I just don't know about these two quarterbacks at Green Bay and Chicago. We know what Kirk Cousins is. We know what the Vikings are. And, there's probably some arguments for putting the Vikings in number one, but I'm going to put the Lions there. And then I think we put the Vikings here in third. Let's hop on the Justin Fields train and end it up like this. I think the Bears, Justin Fields, get an offseason under your belt, comes in this season, much improved. He's an electric player. I think he's a productive quarterback this season. I think makes a leap, makes a jump, maybe similar, not expecting exactly the Jalen Hurts jump of last season, but I think he's very productive this year. I think the Bears finish in second. The Vikings, I think they're just kind of stuck in a rut right now. Not a lot of excitement going on. Finish in third. Packers, I don't think Jordan Love can play. We've seen very little of him. He hasn't played a lot. But what we have seen has not been great. This preseason, missing some wide open receivers now. Give it some time, sure. But he's already had multiple off seasons now, sitting under the tutelage of Aaron Rodgers. So we should be able to expect more. And I don't think he has any outside wild athleticism like a Justin Fields, where Justin Fields can kind of overcome some things because he's just such an electric player. I don't see that from Jordan Love. I haven't seen it in any of the games he's played. I haven't seen it in practice. I haven't seen it in preseason. So sorry Packer fans, sorry Cheeseheads, I got you going fourth. So this is my projections. Each division in the NFL, the final standings. Very excited for this season. Can't wait to watch all these games. AFC looks way more loaded than the NFC, but in the NFC, if I'm going to pick my playoff, we got our 4 division leaders, and then we need 3 more, right? I think it is Bears, Falcons, Niners. I think the Falcons, again, maybe because they can just beat up on Carolina and Tampa Bay, who I think both teams will be quite bad this year. That's where I think they squeak in over a Washington who I think is going to, I mean, there's not a lot separating Washington, New York, and Dallas, in all honesty. So they probably beat each other up. And because of that, the Eagles dominate the division, and none of these teams make the playoffs. Falcons beat up on Carolina and Tampa Bay to get some easy wins. They squeak in along with the Niners and the Bears. The Niners roster is just too good. Even though I didn't pick them to win the division, their roster is too good, even with quarterback problems. I mean, they went through 3 quarterbacks last year. They'll be okay. They'll figure it out. Kyle Shanahan will get in his bag of tricks, and they'll find a way to make it into the playoffs. It's just too good of a roster to not make the playoffs. So I think, your NFC playoff picture is a Saints, Seahawks, Eagles, Lions, and then as division your leaders, and then you've got the Bears, the Falcons, and the Niners making the playoffs as non-division winners. So that is my projections for the season. Very interested to see what y'all think in the comments down below. Who am I overlooking? Who am I too excited about? Who have I hopped too much on the bandwagon for? Let me know in the comments below, and we'll see you tomorrow.